so today is May 19, 2025, and we had a nice drop on Friday, right after the close, after that Moody's the downgrade. So we had the close up here, 59.75, and then we opened all the way down here. So we have a gap, and then we kept going below the range from Friday and came back to the 20-day point of control, right? So we have inventory that's 100% short from Friday's close. Usually we get some correction of inventory as traders that were short from the European session, they start taking profit, so they start covering their position. So looking to see at the reaction at Friday's low and see if we can either accept or reject Friday's value. Friday's value is pretty poor. We look at the, we had a trending day, so there's really, like most of the value you can see it's in the lower side of the distribution, even though we have the point of control here, and this is a very relevant level because of all that volume that came in at the close. But if you look at most, the second area where we have most of the volume is down here. So if we enter Friday's value, I'm gonna be looking for an initial rejection at this area where we have single prints and that low volume node and the overnight high. So we have a bunch of stuff there. It's like half back for that session, the single prints and the overnight high. So I'm looking for that area to find sellers if we get in there. I'm not looking today for a value area sweep, but it's possible, right? Anyway, so if one of my scenarios is looking to fill the gap, keep squeezing, and then find sellers in this area, which is around the 59.50 area, and then see if we come back into that 20-day point of control. Now, if we have sellers and we are able to take the overnight low, then the target is of course Thursday's low, which is down here, 58.85ish, and then from there, this is the area that I mentioned Sunday night, that's the major support area. It's where we had the spike here. So if we are able to trade in here, then my target is 58.65 and then 58.50, where we have this untested point of control from the 12th of May. And then from there, this is just this session from here, and then there's some volume that's from back in March, beginning of March, but it's not really well defined. So this is an area where I consider kind of like a transition. We moved fast. Every time we move through this area, we move pretty fast, and same here on the way back up. So maybe we come back here and then fill it a little bit this time. But we also have the gap here that's going to be a magnet. So we got to keep all that stuff in mind. But anyway, so one thing at a time. So today, looking for that gap fill, and then see if we can trade inside of this support area. Initially, this should give us a little bit of a bounce. So let's see, if it's Monday, so it could be that we just test below and then come back to that 59.08 area. So let's see what happens. This is one of those days that we really can have a bunch of different scenarios and stay inside this range, and attempt to break below, fail, attempt to break above and fail. So watch that. Now the interesting thing here with NQ is that it's weaker. NQ is way weaker. See how Friday never took the high from yesterday, from the previous session, I mean, but it was stronger until then, and then it became much weaker, and is now traded through half of this spike during the overnight session. So I'm looking at similar scenario, see if we can come back and fill that gap, the RTH gap, which the RTH gap for NQ is right at around the same spot of that 20-day point of control. So from there, value area low from Friday is way above here. So that could be the area where we find sellers if we don't find them right there at the 20-day point of control. And then from here, if we take the low of the overnight low, then we have the spike to fill and then the gap fill right there. So this is an area that it's not, I don't think it's going to be an easy short there. So if we get here, I'm going to wait to see how the order flow is, and if we really see strong sellers really pushing in order to take a short. And then if that's the case, then the target is 910, 20,910. And then from here, if we enter inside value for this session, for the 12th, then the target becomes 20,790. Okay, so that's it for NQ. Crude. Let's see crude. So crude, like I said, I mentioned the other day that we're likely to establish this as the next area to trade back and forth, this as a range. It looks like that's gonna be the case for now. So between 63.40 and 59.80, look to for that to be the range. And if we break that 59.80, then 59.15 is the target. And then above it, as I keep mentioning it, 65.82-ish if we break above this 64 area. Gold, after looking below this range and getting back above that 3200, now it is sitting right at that 20-day point of control. And the next resistance area is right here at 3300. So looking for some resistance in this area. What the hell? Okay, something happened to my chart here. There you go. Okay, so I think that's about it. Now we have the press conference at the White House, and that's moving the markets a little bit. So I don't know what she's saying because I have her on mute, but China asked the US to correct wrongdoing. Oh, there's some headlines out of China. So talking about this whole China issued statement on US adjusting chip export control. So there's some issues with apparently China is demanding some changes. All right, good luck.